Hello everyone, this is Erik, the Asian movie enthusiast, and this is my review of The Heroic Trio, a Hong Kong action flick from 1993 that stars Michelle Yeoh, Maggie Cheung, Anita Mui, and Anthony Wong. It was directed by Johnnie To. An invisible woman is kidnapping newborn babies who are destined to be emperors and delivering them to the mysterious, subterranean villain known only as the Evil Master. The police are powerless, and the only hope for the city is a motley trio of women who all share a terrible past. They are Tung, played by Anita Mui, the mild-mannered wife of a police inspector who secretly fights crime as the sword-slinging, knife-throwing heroine with the nickname Wonder Woman. It's not the real Wonder Woman here, it's her nickname, right? Chat, played by Maggie Cheung, a hard-boiled, shotgun-toting bounty hunter who goes by the nickname Thief Catcher, and Ching, played by Michelle Yeoh, the invisible woman of this movie, who is the troubled but determined right hand of the Evil Master. So her character is like basically the enforcer for the villain early in the film, but she starts to question, why she's doing this as the film moves along. Now, one of the first things that I should point out, is that the Heroic Trio does not feel like a typical Johnnie To movie. At least in terms of the most popular films that he's distributed internationally. Like, I think most fans of him are familiar with his crime action flicks from the late 90s through to the 2010s, many of which were produced by his Milky Way Image production company. But when we look at his entire filmography, he does have some range here, directing a number of romantic comedies, for instance, and some other stuff. The Heroic Trio falls into that other category because it's a very thinly written, occasionally crazy and inappropriate superhero movie that's rather outlandish. And he would go on to direct another superhero movie later on, Running on Karma. And that one has like more of a, proficient script behind it, a little bit more meaning to it. But this is like the early kind of brainless superhero film that he made. Now, action direction was handled by Siu-tung, the man who gave us the Chinese Ghost Story trilogy, the Swordsman's trilogy, and Duel to the Death. If you're familiar with this man's works, the Heroic Trio is maybe a little bit more recognizable because the action design is just crazy. Tons of wire work, superhuman abilities on display, and some focus on choreography. The fights have like superhuman jumps, crazy acrobatics, and use multiple kinds of weaponry. Shotguns, swords, metal projectiles that they throw. I do not think I would classify any individual action set piece within this film as being like great or mind-blowing, but the overall package is fun to watch. And one reason for this is that the movie's kind of nuts. Take the opening scene. Anita Mui's character's shopping for her new house with her husband. They pick a dilapidated building. Even the real estate agent is surprised. And then outside, some dude tries to steal their car. And the cop husband just flies out of the second floor window and immediately apprehends the criminal. Totally impossible for anyone to do this in real life. And he's one of the underpowered characters. Truly a Hong Kong film from the early 90s, because sometimes you just shake your head at what's happening. Anthony Wong eats his own finger at one point. Maggie Cheung rides an explosive barrel into a building full of bad guys. There's a scene where a sewer grate flips up in the air awkwardly and then lands perfectly back in place. So it's all in good fun, but just don't expect any realism here. There are also some really bizarre tonal shifts in this movie due to some brief scenes of violence. There's times where you'll say to yourself, did that really happen? And I asked myself that question multiple times in this film. There are some pretty dark things that occur, but they don't have much of a dramatic impact. Even when the script acknowledges these dark events, it just kind of moves along. And mentions them and then just moves along. There's a scene where Maggie Cheung, she has a strategy to catch the bad guy. And she does something that's morally atrocious. She tries something risky and it backfires stupendously, but the film just doesn't really care that much. My response to this was like, oh, and there's another scene later on where she like executes a number of hostages out of mercy. Like that was like her logic. I guess it was a mercy killing, and I'm just sitting there like, and not sure I totally agree with you on that one, Maggie, but it was fun to watch, and that's kind of certain scenes in this movie are like that. There's nothing in this film that I would classify as like disturbing or anything like that, but I would say there are some moments that are like delightfully shocking. So yeah, that's how I would classify parts of this. I do appreciate that type of content though, because it's quite different. You don't see it very often in movies. Some of the set designs are pretty cool in this. The story takes place in mostly urban environments and an underground cave area. I like the scientist's weird laboratory that has like giant like steampunk style machines and stuff. Like I said earlier, the heroic trio, kind of a superhero movie, and some of that comes through in the production design. And then the final positive involves the three actresses. I mean, each of them get significant amounts of screen time, and watching them play off of each other is a real treat, especially for fans of the industry. I mean, all three actresses are juggernauts of this industry, and having them all in the same film, especially a film like this, is pretty cool. Script writing is definitely on the weak side, it is, but the ladies elevate the material in terms of entertainment value. Anthony Wong plays like a mini-boss that the ladies need to fight, but he doesn't get a lot of screen time. But he's still entertaining as usual. So if you're into Hong Kong cinema from this time period, Heroic Trio, easy choice. It's fun. Currently available streaming on the Criterion channel. I heard they were going to release a Blu-ray at some point, but I'm not sure when exactly that's going to happen. I heard that news like last year, so I don't know if that's off the table now or not. If anybody knows or has an update, drop me an update in the comments section. But at the very least, it's available streaming right now. And as always, we'll see you next time.